Hi, welcome to Ball Masters Football. We're back again with another video. Today we'll be discussing the Premier League roundup, game week 8. I'm really looking forward to this week, doing it with Arsenal winning, beating Tottenham. I know you Tottenham fans were trying to give us stick, but you know, North London is red. I know Man United fans are out there, and I know Manchester's blue at the minute. So, you know, in all seriousness, there were some great games over the weekend, and let's get through to them. The first game we're going to talk about Arsenal, and I just want to let you Tottenham fans know, Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. I thought it was a great game. I know for being an Arsenal fan, it was a great game. For Tottenham, I have said it in the past. I have said it in previous videos that, you know, they have been quite defensive, not as, you know, direct and coming at the blocks early, and they were just sitting deep and just waiting for opportunities to hit on the counter attack, which they did try. I thought we were on the front foot. I thought we tried to create all the time. Partey's goal was an amazing goal in that game. I know they got the penalty from Harry Kane, which he put away down the middle. Great goal, great pen, I should say. And then Jesus, I thought we was a bit fortunate with that one, with Lloris, you know, parrying it, and there was a bit of miscommunication between the defender and Lloris, and Jesus just pounced on it, which all good strikers you need to have in the box. That's going to really be quick and react to it, which he did. So, you know, went 2-0 up, you know, over the moon with that. I thought, you know, I'm happy with 2-1. And then, you know, Xhaka, who I thought was man of the match, again, he did get man of the match, got the third, and, you know, it was game over from then. But I thought it was, again, a great dominant performance from Arsenal. Again, I know we lost against Manchester United when we're discussing the, you know, Arsenal against the top teams. We lost that game. We played quite poorly at Old Trafford. Played Tottenham at the Emirates, beat them quite convincingly. And I know, again, I think that's Tottenham's first loss of the season. So, you know, it's a bit sweet, you know, when you're able to do things like that. I thought as well, in terms of possession, now, in terms of the stats, Arsenal had 65%, Spurs had 35%, and I think it's just quite telling in terms of what Tottenham's game plan was just to sit deep. I feel that there is times, and there's times when you can do it, and there's times when you just got to go, you know what, let's just go for it. And I felt, with it being a London derby, I felt they should have just went for it. But nonetheless, being an Arsenal fan, I'm happy that we got the 3 points. In terms of Tottenham, now my notes, what I've put down is, you know, again, as I said before, they sat back and waited. I felt the final pass, now they had some opportunities to hurt us on the counter attack, but I just felt that their final pass in terms of the delivery, whether that be, I know Song overhit a couple of passes that he could have played to Richarlison and to Harry Kane, and I felt that, you know, the final ball, I should say, was quite poor from Tottenham, and I felt that they could have possibly got a goal, because I think they did have some chances in that game, but I just felt that their final pass was quite poor, and I think that's what's, you know, meant that they weren't able to you know, create any chances, clear-cut chances that could lead to a goal. The other thing what I did notice as well was, you know, with their front three, with Richarlison, Harry Kane and Song, you know, that is a really, really good pair of three good strikers there. And I think, you know, I think they had 7 shots on goal to Arsenal's 22. So, you know, I don't know. I think you got the tactics wrong in that game, especially being a London derby. I felt they should have been more, you know, willing to try and come out and try and compete more. I think that's what the issue is for me. They should have tried to come out more. But again, you know, nonetheless, we got the 3 points. Moving on to the next derby, which was the Manchester derby. You know, boy, I I was expecting that result, if I'm being really honest. 6-3. That was an absolute beating they got, and 3-0 up in the first half. Game was over. The game was over in the first half. So, I felt Man City's tempo, the start of the tempo was very good. I just felt that the only thing what I felt that Man United could have done better was maybe they should have just be more positive in terms of when they're on the ball, getting close to him, closing down, pressing, and trying to just calm down or quieten the fans, I should say. Try and stay within the game. And I just felt that they were just a little bit slow in getting out and getting ready for you're in a Manchester derby, so there's going to be high energy, there's going to be high tackles going in, and the crowd, Man City crowd, was just right behind the team, and I felt that they played a part as well in that game. For me, Jack Grealish for me was amazing in that game, as well as Kevin De Bruyne. I felt Foden obviously and Haaland were amazing in that game. I think everything was going in terms of positive going forward was through Grealish. I think Anthony's goal was amazing for Manchester United. Really, really good goal. Came out of nowhere. And I think in terms of the other great goal that I saw Man United score was the penalty from Martial. That was a really, really well taken penalty, top corner. No keeper saving that. And again, they did try to, respectively make the scoreline not as bad as it was, or it could have been, I should say. And I think, as Ten Hag said, that they disappointed themselves. They let themselves down, because I felt that they should have at least gave more of a fight with it being a Manchester derby. But again, considering how much Man City are in form, with Haaland, Foden, they just absolutely blitzed Manchester United, and they just couldn't deal with the wave after wave of attacks that Manchester City were coming with. And many teams that are going to go to the Etihad, and that's going to likely happen to them. But I think you're just going to have to try and stay in the game as best you can, and try and see if you can possibly nick a result. Or try to see if you can get a point at least, or try and keep the score down, or try and do something, because I think, when you're just sitting off them and allowing them to play in that midfield there, again, with McTominay and Eriksen that holding midfield role, you could have just might as well not have no one there. The way that the Man City were just easily able to pass through that midfield and into the forwards. I felt Grealish had so much time, space, he had a free rein, and if you give players like that a free rein, you're going to put yourself in a lot of trouble. But again, Man City, they'll take those 3 points, then they'll be moving on to the next victim, as you could possibly say. But, I think they're going to take some stopping, to be really honest, especially Haaland. Foden got his hat-trick, really pleased for him. Haaland, again, got his another hat-trick again. You might as well give him the golden boot now, the way that he's going, in terms of the way he's clinical in front of goal. I think that's the key thing, and I think he's the only one, I would say, at this present moment in time, is just clinical. When he's in the box, you just think he's going to score. So let's see how they get on, and let's see which is they're going to be the first team to possibly stop them. I'm not going to say that they're going to. I don't want to curse it by saying they could go undefeated, and they do. But at this present moment in time, you're thinking to yourself, with all the teams, who can stop them? And it's going to take a really good team on their day to stop them. The next game, which was Palace Chelsea, I thought it was a great goal from Edouard. I thought he scored a really good goal. I thought Issei had some. I think he had a great shot on there. I thought the keeper parried it, and I thought they could have possibly reacted better to the rebound and possibly tapped that in. But I thought the first half, Palace were really going for it, really up for it, and really positive. I felt Thiago Silva should have been sent off, in my opinion. I thought, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth, because as a result, he's ended up heading it down to Aubameyang, who's scored a brilliant goal, lovely goal. Really liked that goal he scored. and made it level. But I think if I was Vieira, I would be quite disheartened that he's still on the pitch, Thiago Silva. Conor Gallagher's goal was amazing as well. Really brilliant goal, especially against his his old club. I would say old club, but the club he was on loan at. But nonetheless, well deserved well taken goals, and I thought that they definitely deserved the 3 points overall. I thought that they just created more chances. I thought Mason Mount played a great important role in the victory as well. Move on to the next game, which was Palace Brighton. That was a bit of a weird one, to be honest with you, considering how much Liverpool are struggling at the minute and how much in form Brighton are. I wasn't really expecting it to end in a 3-3 draw. I was a bit surprised considering that they had the international break and they've come back from it, and how defensively poor Liverpool were in that game. I thought usually Liverpool are a team that, you're playing at Anfield, that you're going to be pressing and, all those good things that Liverpool were doing in the past. I just noticed that especially in this game, I don't think that they didn't really do that much pressing. And I felt that enabled Brighton to play some really good football, really, really good football. I was really impressed with them, and I felt that they could have been 4-0 up in the first half. If I'm being really honest, I thought, to be honest with you, they were very clinical. They were very precise in their attacks. I quite liked the way Trossard and Welbeck were playing up front for him. I thought they were causing Liverpool all kinds of trouble, especially Welbeck. I thought he could have possibly got himself possibly a hat-trick. I thought he had some clear-cut chances, headers, which I thought should have been in the back of the net. But again, that's just how, unfortunately, that's how it goes. But nonetheless, give Liverpool credit. They got back into the game, got it to 3-3, and then at the end, Trossard got himself a hat trick at the end. But I felt to be honest with you, if I was judging the game, I think a draw would have been fair. I don't think Liverpool played well enough to go, yeah, they deserve 3 points. And I feel that at this present moment in time, if I was Klopp, I'll be quite worried in terms of how the team are playing currently. Defensively, I think going forward, I think they're fine. I just feel that without the ball is where Liverpool were as much of a threat going forward. But I just feel that they're pressing, the way that they were aggressive in their defending, they don't really seem that type. And I was a bit surprised in how, their first touch. So in terms of, I think it was Henderson. And I think he was receiving the ball and the ball's pinging off him, coming off his foot, and just it's then gone away from him, and he's getting into a 50-50 possibly. And I think to myself, players of that ability shouldn't be, their first touch is their bread and butter. So I think it's just someone like him that plays in the midfield. So I think I was a bit surprised, and not just only him, there was quite a few players that had that similar situation where they were receiving their ball and it was just bouncing off them, where should it be, it should be sticking to him, it's just bouncing off him each time. And I felt that Brighton, when they had the ball, they were very, very positive with it, and they created some great chances. It was just unfortunate that they weren't clinical in putting away those chances. But again, I really liked the way Trossard took his goals, and I just felt that overall, again, as I said before, I think a draw would have been fair. Move on to one thing before I move on to the next one. I thought Firmino's second goal was very good. The way he's able to send one of the other players, the defender, I don't know where he sent him, where he sent him to the shops, and then he just swept it across the keeper, and it was a fantastic goal. I really liked that goal, and I think when you can bring quality and you could do quality within a split of a second. Those are the things that make you, a successful team, where you can have a bad game and then within a couple of minutes you're able to be in a position where you end up drawing the game, where you was like 2-0 down. So, I thought, again, Liverpool need to really, pull their socks up, and I think there's really a lot of positive things to come from Brighton going forward. I really want to see how they end the season, but I think they're going to really end the season positively. Move on to the next game, which is Fulham Newcastle. I think, to be honest with you, I think the game was even. The game was even, in my opinion. I don't think the game was even started yet, and then they were down to 10 men. I think as soon as they went down to 10 men, Newcastle just went, right, we're just going to play Jacob Murphy and Almiron wide, stretch the pitch, make the pitch big. Callum Wilson in goal, in the area, in the box, and you're just going to whip balls in. And I felt that they did that, and I felt that Fulham weren't able to cope with that. I know with them being down to 10 men, they're trying to be compact and trying to be hard to break down, considering that they play it down. So I think they were just being patient, Newcastle, and they got their goals. I really feel that Trippier, for me, since this season being at Newcastle, I think he's really, really been impressive for me. I know there's some people questioning whether he should have been selected for the England team, and in my opinion, I think he's one of them ones that should have been. Shouldn't even have any questions about, especially on the form that he's playing at this present moment in time. I really like how he's playing this season for Newcastle so far, and I just feel that in terms of, I know Fulham lost the game, and I thought they were very poor. I thought what they could have done was be a little bit more of themselves. I know that they were missing Willian and a few of the one or two of the key players, but I just still felt that they should have at least had some fight. Mitrovic was a bit quiet, so I'm hoping that he can, find his feet or find his form again. I know it might just be one game back after international break, but they need to try and continue to get points, because they were on a great run. So, yeah, that's what I think overall in that game with the Newcastle Fulham game. But I think if Silva, the manager of Fulham, is honest, I think he can't have any faults with the red card. It was a dangerous tackle, and I felt that I'm just kind of glad that Longstaff wasn't nothing seriously injured in that game. So I really hope that that they're able to improve, because I quite like Fulham, so I really want them to really do well this season. Moving to the next game, which is West Ham Wolves. I thought it was a really good game. In terms of West Ham, I think they've just finally may have found their formation that David Moyes is going to actually stick with. I know he's changed. Before the international break, they were inconsistent in terms of swapping formation, changing players, and I think I'm just hoping that he's able just to find an absolute base that he can then possibly, just work from and just keep as a consistency. So at least then the players are able to be consistent, know what formation that they're working with, and it's not going to be chopped and changed every single minute. I was a bit surprised with West Ham, it being their first home league win, because I thought, again, with a decent side that they've got, you would think that they would have picked up points at home already. Declan Rice had a really good game in that game against Wolves. In terms of Wolves, I think it's just the same old thing again. Creating chances, and I think looking at the stats, they had 62% possession. West Ham had 39. West Ham had 8 shots to Wolves' 15 on goal. And again, it's quite even though they find themselves 2-0 down, but it was quite a close game. And again, for Wolves having so much possession, again, they need someone to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's been their biggest problem, and the coaches. So again, once they can get a strike, I know Diego Costa came on the in the second. He featured at some point. So again, I think for me, hopefully, if he can start getting on the score sheet and get them, scoring goals, the better for Wolves. Moving on to the next game, which was Southampton Everton. To me, in that game, who stood out for me was Aribo, Che Adams. Were very impressive for me. Aribo took his goal very well. Great finish from him. Everton, however, I thought they got their goals very quick in the second half. I thought they were very good. I thought Connor Cody was very good. I think he's proven a great signing for me. The second goal for Everton, which was McNeil, I thought his finish was very good. Very pleased with that finish. I think he still had a lot to do because, again, it came across, it was bouncing, and he had a little bit of time, which, again, with a volley, it can go either way. And I thought we just hit into the roof of the net. Great finish from him. And yeah, I think Everton now are moving up the table slowly. And again, I just hope that they're able just to keep that momentum going. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that game. The Bournemouth-Brentford game, again, Bournemouth, considering the start that they've had, again, you have to give Gary O'Neill credit for what he's done in 4 games. Again, they're still unbeaten since he took charge. They look much a better side since he's took over. Brentford, however, I think since the game, I think it might have been against Wolves, I believe. I could be wrong. When Ivan Toney scored his hat-trick. And I know they played Arsenal the second game, and they just seemed a bit slightly off. I think it's the second game where they seem a little bit off, and I think they might have just come off their perch a little bit, and they just need to just get back on it again and just try and put some results together. I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think it's just more of a case of it's just being a hard team to break down at the minute, Bournemouth. So, I think they'll be back to winning ways very shortly. Leeds, Aston Villa. I think in terms of the Aston Villa game, I know it was obviously 0-0. I think Leeds had to play with 10 men in the second half, which, again, was a deserving red. I think, to be honest with you, I think in terms of stats, Villa edged it. But I know Coutinho hit the post. He could have gave him the lead, hit the post. Ollie Watkins also had a chance towards the end as well. So I think overall, a draw would have been fair. But I think in terms of chances, I think Villa would have been more kicking themselves, thinking that they should have won the game or at least got something more out of the game. Than Leeds, because obviously with Leeds having 10 men, that's an advantage to him. So they should have maybe took that advantage, and I think they'll be kicking themselves that they didn't take the advantage of that. The last game, which is Leicester Nottingham Forest, which was played on Monday. Again, I'm quite happy that Brendan Rodgers has got 3 points after a long time. In that little, disastrous period that they had. They're 3-0 up within 10 minutes in the first half. Maddison was outstanding. Took his 2 goals very well. I believe Harvey Barnes and Dax got the other 2. In terms of Nottingham Forest, I think we could be in this situation where I think another team's done it in the past, where I think it might have been Fulham, where they've come up, they've spent massive, they've near enough changed the whole team, and it's taken them a lot of time to gel, and they're finding it a little bit difficult at the minute, trying to find their feet. And I think at the minute it's a little bit tricky for everybody at Forest to do that when you've got so many new players in, and it's going to be hard for them to gel, get to know each other and so forth, and to obviously buy into the ideas of what the coach wants, Steve Cooper. So I think they need to. My thoughts on that is that they need to pick up results very quickly. And not only that as well, they're bottom of the league now, so they really have to pick up results. They can't really be on this idea where they do well as they did before. They do well in the first half and then maybe they tail off in the second half. They need to now put results or performances together, first half and second half, because again, there's always two halves to a game. So they just need to make sure that they're consistent and being the dominant team in the first half and in the second half. And I thought another thing what I noticed as well is that they're conceding goals quite easily and a lot of goals. Now, I don't know in terms of I don't know much about Fulham. I'm gonna have to maybe research a bit more in terms of how many of those players at the back are all new signings and how many of them are original players that have got promoted with them, because I think. Whereas, especially in defence, you want to have some consistency. And I think if it's all new and everyone doesn't know each other and you're unorganised, you're going to get punished, especially playing in the Premier League. So yeah, I just feel that for me, those are the things that I feel that Steve Cooper needs to really look at, is just going back to basics, just getting organised and being hard to beat. I think going forward, they've got a lot of talent going forward. I think they just need to just really keep organised defensively. And lastly, again, I just feel quite happy for Brendan Rodgers. I quite like Brendan Rodgers as a coach, and so I'm really happy that he's able to get a result and give himself some breathing space from the dark performances that they've had of late. But yeah, that's all for this week of the roundup of game week 8. Again, thank you for watching. Please do put any comments down that you feel that I've said, or anything you feel that you want to add as well regarding your team, and we'll love to hear from you. That'll be all for now, and take care now. Bye.